Welcome back to the seventh episode of City Airport Search. So, we are at a stage where we can navigate to a new screen. That's where we are at. I searched for some city, then I can navigate to a new screen where it's actually showing all the airports. That's not yet done. So, that's what we are gonna do first thing in this episode, where we're going to receive that content, which is like the models from the first screen, which is the city search screen, to the new screen where you are actually showing all your airports. So this is what first thing that we are going to do today. We're consuming whatever is there on the first view controller to the second one, all happening through the coordinators. And the next episode is going to focus on something which is an issue. You go back, it will not deallocate your coordinator, which is your child coordinator, because we don't have a handle over the dismiss, or at least the pop of the view controller. That's what we are going to concentrate on in the next episode, because we don't have anything which can handle this. So whatever we'll do there is introduced something called as a router, my favorite router. Like, it's been there from my Viper tutorial. So even here we are going to bring in a Viper, not a Viper, but a router pattern here, which will actually solve that. I don't take credit for it, because that is something which was being suggested or implemented by someone named as Benoit Pazakier. I don't know how to pronounce that, but I will share um, that link where it is being explained in a good manner. So that's what the second episode of, at least the eighth episode, is going to concentrate on the routing pattern, where we can start deallocating whenever we are pushing and popping things. So those are the two things we are basically going to concentrate on this tutorial episodes. So let's get started. We already have the airport's view model, which was created in the last episode, which is mapping to your view controller, which is the airport's view controller. But we are not actually associated that view model to the view controller yet. So that's what we are going to do right now. So things which you're going to handle right now is to associate that view model to the view controller, create a table view cell to which can actually represent the airports. Then we start data binding the items, which is like the airport view model, which we will create, which will again get configured. The airport cell will actually configure that view model and then show those airports which we actually need to show. So that's what we are going to do. First thing first, we need to create this view model, pass that data to the view controller, and then start binding that to the table view cell. So that's what we are going to do right now. So we already have the airport's view model. So we have created some properties, at least the input and output required to make that variables which we need to pass it to these input and output. So what all things we need right now? So one thing is that we need a title and the airports. So first thing first, let's create the cell which is needed. I'm not going to configure it yet, but then let's create it. UITableViewCell. It's similar to the previous episodes where we created a cell for the city. Similar to that, it's here airport cell. Also need to create the XIB for that. I'm just calling it as airport cell. Create that. That's it. And then go to that cell. Okay, finally. So whatever we are gonna do here is create a cell, make it a little bigger. I want it maybe of height. Let's just verify whatever I have created already. I'm having a height of 135. Let's keep that. Cell height 35. What's the height right now? 35. Okay. And actually having it as 175. That's a real height. Okay, and then let's keep its background color as transparent. Make it as clear color. That's fine. And then let's add a view over it. Or before that, let's set everything and finally add a view over it. So let me have a label first. We just call it as airport name. Then what's the size and font? Every heavy 26. Custom font. Every Avenir heavy 26. And I'm gonna apply a custom color as well. So even it's a great idea if you can have it all these themes coming from a theme file or something instead of UHUD, keeping everything in this did not change. Okay, in this ViewController itself, so that it's configurable later. So that's something we can look at once we are completely done with this tutorial series. Then let me have something for distance. Label again. Maybe keep everything center aligned. Distance. Something for country. Finally, runway length. That is something coming as a response from the server. Runway length. 4 things. Then maybe add it in a stack view. Perfect. Set its constraints: leading, trailing, top, trailing, bottom. 20 is fine. That's it for things, and then change these colors a bit. I'm gonna keep it as black. 16 Avenir book. Avenir book 16. This one maybe medium bold or something. Semi bold. Size 20. Semi bold. There's no semi bold. Medium. Size 20. Okay, that's fine. The color can be dark gray color. Dark gray. That's fine, because once you have that white background, it will look better. So this may be a light gray for this last one, of size 14 and system gray color. Size 14. Avenir light. 19 and system gray. Maybe this, I guess. Light gray color is fine. Maybe it will not be visible. Take something system gray color. Okay, and then that's it. That's my cell. Let's add a view on top of it. Not top of it. View here. Okay, where did that go? Okay, that's fine. And then keep its constraints. Leading. Maybe it can be of same constraint like this stack view. Just keep that and then do it. It's easier. Okay, that's fine. Wait. Then do this horizontal. No. Top. It's easier doing this thing. Leading, trailing, bottom. That's done. All 20 again. Fine, and then maybe reduce stack views. What's that I've kept? 5. Oh. Stack view fill proportionally. That's fine. Okay, that's cool. Now let's do this. So let's add the outlets. Airport name label, distance label, country label, finally runway length. You can just call it as length label. That's it. 4 fields of that cell. That's ready. So it's 175 is its height. So we'll have to go and set that in the view controller as well. That's my TableView cell. Go here, not taking height. So I don't need these things. Estimated and height, automatic height 175. That's it. It's not going to extend more than that because there is no dynamic content there. Maybe the airport name can become like a little bigger. Maybe, let's see. So that's set as 175. Okay, TableView cell. Let's do all the other things. Like I don't need any separator. Where is that separator? None. That's also done. And then I don't need any background color for this. I can even remove that clear color. Let it take the cell view controller's color as the background color. So that's also done. The table view is ready. Now cell is ready. It needs a configure function. before that, okay, let's create that view model as well. So there, for configuring this table view cell, we need a view model which we can call as airport view model. We already have the airports view model, which is actually representing this whole of this view, but for each cell we need a view model called airport view model. Airport view model type struct airport view model, and like always, let's create the presentable for it. So it's called airport view presentable, which is what we will give to the cell for configuring. So airport view presentable and the airport view model. Now what all parameters I need for representing in that. So let's create that. I need a name, then I need the code, which is like the unique identifier, which I need to maintain for the for that specific table view cell. And for the each airport there is a unique code. That's what is going to be the unique identifier. So I'm maintaining that. Then I need the address, which is like the location which we had given, city and state. Then comes the country part. Address is okay. What all things we have? I think we have airports view model. Okay, let's go back to the cell once. It's distance is what its country is, like airport name. We know which city it is, and the title is going to be okay. Let's come back to that. So this is the country, and second part is the distance. So address is what the country part is going to be. It is going to represent the city, state, country part, both of all those three together. Maybe it does not need the, let's see. So I have the address, then I need the distance, which is the second field in that in that one. This is more going to be a calculation base, because we need to calculate the distance from my current location to the airport. So that's going to be this distance. So it's going to be a calculated one. Then I need a formatted distance. Let's see how it's going to. This distance is going to be of type double, which is like something we need to receive and then manipulate, because this distance is required for calculating the actual distance, and this formatted distance is something which we will actually use for representation. Finally, runway length, not finally. Runway length, and we need the final location, which is like the latitude and longitude, which we will use to calculate the distance. That's also done. That's done. So now this has to be implemented by my view model, so that each and every property comes in here. So this is more like var name string var, let's include everything. So we have name, code, address, distance, formatted distance, runway length, location. So something which I'm going to move outside is this one. In the sense, I'm going to calculate this separately using the I'm going to calculate it using the distance field which we have. So I'm just going to say distance dot rounded to which rule? Rounded to nearest or even. And then I'm going to divide it by 1000. I don't know, this calculation is like I'm trying to convert it into kilometers. Maybe I'll revisit that later, because this is more like a formatting of my values to this. It's asking me to, okay. So that's it. Distance rounded to the nearest even. So whatever distance I'm gonna get, I'm gonna convert that into, if it is in meters, I'm gonna convert it into kilometers by dividing it by 1000. So I'm hoping it's coming back in meters, not in miles maybe. So let's maybe check that later. But then this is how I'm just converting that, making it as a formatted distance. So whatever it's gonna receive as a distance from, let's say if some through init through that model, we're going to convert that into the formatted distance. So that's what it is. So AirportViewModel has all the properties now. So let's now create an extension which will actually receive the model through an init. Airport model init using model airport model. So it's accepting an airport model and converting that into airport view model. That's what is happening here. So I'm gonna say self dot name model dot name self dot code model dot code self dot address. Do we have an address? Oh, airport view model. Extension is for airport view model. Address is, this is going to be a concatenation of state and country. Let's do that. Model dot state, send nullable type. So I'm just keeping that as empty. If something is not coming back, then country, which is not a nullable type. Self dot runway length. This is coming back as part of the server response. I'm just going to keep it as runway length, because this is what is we are going to represent in that. So I need even this part, like show runway length, because it will get replaced otherwise. Runway length. If it's empty, I'm going to keep it as maybe 0 is not good, so not applicable or something. That's done. Self dot location. This is what, just capturing that latitude and longitude coming from model lat long model dot longitude. That's it. And then finally the distance calculation, which is more like something, let's park it for the time being, because that's again, it's going to use the current location and we don't have a current location yet. So most probably let's keep it as the next step. So I'm gonna just keep this distance as 0 for the time being, maybe 0. Okay, it has to be, because we can take it up as a new tutorial where I'm going to use this data to actually create or calculate the distance from my current location and then do that. So I'm just keeping it like a fix me later. It's a new episode. Fix me distance calculation from airport, from current location to airport. do that. Let's do that in a bit, but let's finish this and show that the table, it does not do any sorting as such right now. It's just going to show you the airports for a state. That's going for the city. That's what is going to happen right now. So this is completed. This is pending. Let's do that in a bit. So I have the airport model getting converted into an airport view model here, and we also have all the formatting, all the properties required. So now let's use, I think we did not configure airport cell, so let's configure that now. Function configure using view model presentable is what I'm going to pass. That's my configure function, and configure is going to have, we have the airport name label dot text. It's going to be view model dot name. Then we have the distance label text, view model dot distance. Formatted distance is what we are going to bind with. It's going to show right now 0 because we have not done that calculation part yet, so that's going to happen soon. View model dot address. It's actually not country, it's actually the address, but it's going to show state and country. Runway length, we have kept it as length dot label dot text. View model dot runway length, and I don't need any selection style for my cell. Even we need to do this in the other one because we don't need any selection style. So even the city one, I'm giving it as no selection style. Done. So that's configure is also done. We just need to call this configure when we are actually doing that data binding. So let's do, so we are done with what? We have the view model representing each and every cell right now available. We have the cell which is now useful for showing those airports in that city, and now we need to start getting those value which is sent from the search view city coordinator to the airports coordinator. So we are not sent it yet. We just created the view, pushed it to the navigation controller. We need to build the view model here, do that association here, and then start pushing that content so that we can start doing the data binding. So let's do that now.